All right, we're back after our 20-minute rest. Still have my bench scraper out. I'm going to take these two. Baskets and just flour them lightly. These are where the bread is going to go when we're all mixed up. All right. So this is the shaping step. This is probably the hardest to explain. That's why a video I think works really well for this. Essentially, we are trying to make the surface nice and taut and smooth, and that'll go to the other side into the basket. This will flip into there. What I do is I grab it and I start rotating it counterclockwise in my hand and just lightly pulling the surface. So I can do this really fast, as I do some days. I'm trying to do it slower so you can kind of get this idea. I'm trying to make this surface nice and smooth, and I'm kind of pushing in on the back with my fingers as I pull it a little tight. You don't want to pull too tight, you don't want it to get a lot of tearing going on. But once you get it tight, what I do is I flip it upside down, and then to get it even further tight, I kind of let it pull through my hands, nice smooth surface on the bottom, pull through my hands into the basket, to which, once it's here, I pinch it. The seam that I've created, what that does is that keeps it so it doesn't open up on the bottom. Sometimes it does for me. It's okay too, but by getting it in there, it allows it to have a pinched surface on the bottom. This will be the bottom of the bread. The top is underneath. All right. So I'll try this again. Over to me. Turn it, pull it, turn it, pull it. Trying to get a nice surface, and I'm pushing what I'm pulling into the center on the back side. This is probably the hardest step to explain. All right, a nice smooth surface. I'm going to turn it upside down. Now I'm going to let that kind of push together there into the basket. See, I have the seam there, and I will close that seam, pinching it all the way across. There's a ton of techniques for this step. Mine is probably not the best, but it has been working for me. Do a little bit of flour on the surface. Then I take my two plastic wraps. A rubber band would also work on plastic wrap here. The point is you want to actually have a nice seal so you don't dry out your dough. All right, this is now ready for what we're going to do. We're going to leave it out in the 75 or 70 to 75 degree room for 1 hour. So it's exactly 1 o'clock now. I'm going to put these in that room for an hour, and at 2 o'clock, I'm going to move it to my refrigerator overnight, exactly as it is. I'm just going to take it from the warm room, plop them in with the covering and everything. And in the morning, we will take it out of the refrigerator 2 hours before we're ready to bake. So timing is putting it into my warm room for an hour, waiting an hour, putting it into the refrigerator today, overnight, and then in the morning, 2 hours before we bake, I'll be taking them out. When I take them out, I'm going to remove the plastic from the tops and then put a cloth over the both of them and put them in my warming room for that 2 hours because it has to start warming up. 1 hour into that. So if we take it out 2 hours before we bake, 1 hour before we bake, we will turn our oven. Hopefully you have a pizza stone, something to put the boules onto. If you don't have one, I've heard cast iron pots can work for that. There's a name for those. Can't think of it right now. But you can heat up that cast iron pot in the oven and then put that in there. It's a little harder to get really hot. I've been burned so many times by that. I have a pizza stone. That's the method I'm using. So what we'll do is an hour before we're ready to bake, though, we will start heating up our oven to 500 degrees, and it has to be that whole hour because you have to heat the pizza stone up to temperature to get a nice good crust on it, right? So tomorrow in the morning, 2 hours before baking, you take these out, take the plastic wrap off, put a cloth cover over, and leave it in your warm 70 to 75 degree area for 2 hours, because that's when you start baking. An hour before you bake, you preheat your oven to 500 with the pizza stone inside of it, and then I will have another video for you. So that's all the videos for today. That is the end step in the mixing day of making sourdough.